Today I'm going to tell you Jay's story. Jay grew up with two older siblings. He remembers in his household that he mostly hung out with his mother, not his father, at least until high school. As he grew up, he moved out and moved on and still kept in touch with his parents. At the age of 72, his mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Jay's dad was instructed with taking care of his mother, and his dad went to many caregiver meetings and many support groups until he was later diagnosed at the age of 77 with vascular dementia. Jay suspected that his mom would get Alzheimer's because she showed the signs way before she was diagnosed. It didn't come as a shock that she would be diagnosed with Alzheimer's, but Jay's dad, that was a shock. He had said he was diagnosed with vascular dementia, or a sort of dementia, and didn't show any signs at all. And Jay wasn't that worried until his dad had a stroke. And he remembers it and recalls it as it was just hard knowing that it was sitting there for 2 years just waiting to strike. And Jay's biggest regret, I'm sure there are many more, but the biggest one that he told me was that he wished he had more time to plan while both his mom and his dad were still functional and he could figure out what they wanted. So a little bit of background on Alzheimer's and vascular dementia is Alzheimer's is most common. There's no known cause, but people think exercise will be a preventative thing for Alzheimer's. The risk factors are age, genetics, and health, and it has a gradual memory decline. It's not sudden. Whereas in vascular dementia, about 1 to 4 people with dementia have this type of dementia, and that percentage doubles every 5 to 10 years. It can be caused by a stroke or some blood clots that decrease blood flow to the brain. You're at risk if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, or artery disease. This is a very sudden dementia, and it's not gradual at all. It's usually brought on by a stroke. So after Jay's dad had a stroke, the story of that, he said, was they were going to go and meet with his mom and dad and tell them that they were moving them to a nursing home. But as soon as they got there, they found Jay's dad on the floor due to a stroke that he had been laying there for a week. And it worked out that they had a spot in a nursing home for them. But they moved them to Boutwells in Stillwater, Minnesota. He knew his dad hated nursing homes, but he felt that this was going to be the best move, especially when they didn't have time to take care of them when they originally lived in Wilmer, and then Stillwater was closer to a couple of Jay's siblings. Jay's mom, it's not that she was easy to watch the decline, but she was so happy and cheerful. She always thought she was on vacation, and even though she forgot you, she was always happy to see them. Whereas Jay's dad, like he said, was so sudden that he said, "My dad woke up physically, but I don't think his mind ever did. He always thought it was spring." And that's when he had the stroke, was in spring. But Jay never answered how he felt watching his dad decline. So I asked how it changed his daily life, because this type of thing would change your daily life a lot. He said there was a lot of time off work. He took advantage of the time he had with them because he knew there was nothing you could do. But he also started planning his own future and telling his kids what he wanted. But essentially, these are very bad diseases. Alzheimer's affects over 5 million people, and there are about 8.2 billion unpaid care hours by family members. If you want a perspective, that's about 27,702 lifetimes of 24/7 care hours. That's a lot. And this is very hard to watch, especially if you're a family member. And there's a care organization to help caregivers of all different types of diseases, not just Alzheimer's and dementia. And Jay said it's a lot of no fun. And there's no way to really avoid it. But there are other caregivers, and there are others who struggle with disease Don't only find them on the bad days, but find them on the good days too.